What's the dying industry?
Music.
Yeah, music's over with.
It's over.
Streaming, bro. It's over with.
DIY.
So on a recent episode of the Joe Budden podcast, rapper Vince Staples was invited on to talk about not only the music that he's been working on, but some of his experiences within the music industry. Also, his pivot to acting and getting into movies. During this conversation, actually at the very beginning of this conversation, they start to casually talk about the current music industry as it stands.
Once, I'll never do it again.
Respect us.
Word.
Nah, I like
Yo, be
SOBs.
respectful of such a performance staple.
Nah, I like SOBs.
Pun intended.
If I gotta go back to SOBs, then I need to go get a job.
So just to give it context, because the conversation kind of faded its way in after the intro, Vince Staples was talking to Ish about if he's going to be performing at SOBs. SOBs is a legendary venue in New York. Not the biggest venue, but it's still legendary. And his response was, I'm not playing that little ass venue.
How many seats is in that venue? It's like
300?
Yeah,
Come on,
something
bro.
like that.
something like.
You could raise the ticket prices.
I'm cool.
Make it exclusive.
Or you could just give back to the fans. You could do
Super
a pop-up.
intimate.
Yo, Vince State, now that I blew up, now that I'm me.
I'll never give
Not
back to
an
the
accurate
fans.
commercials. Oh, shit.
He just said, I'll never give back to the fans. Why is that, Vince?
Why should you give back? You selling a product, bro. Why are we the only niggas that's like gotta give our shit away for free? Everybody else get to sell stuff, whatever. Nobody give back to the fans. KB Holmes ain't giving back to the fans. Coca-Cola ain't giving back to the fans. But the niggas gotta give back to the fans. They can pay for it. They don't pay for the music already.
Ooh, chill. Hey, chill.
I'm gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Now, I don't doubt for a second that Vince Staples respects his fans. I don't doubt for a second that he understands the contribution that they have made to changing his life. But he's saying something that, whether or not you want to take it serious or not, he makes a really valid point. I think it is our responsibility as owners of any business or any product to make sure our customers are the top priority, that we're taking care of them along the way. But he's saying, isn't it ironic that we're already giving our music practically away for free? Well, the majority when you think about streaming and the low payout numbers that they give. Why are we expected to give out even more free shit? Why is it that music is already so devalued based upon the structure they've set up? They still saying, hey man, you should give back.
We gotta give them some more free shit.
You're talking about being transactional. I'm talking about being transformational.
So you gonna transform the
seen that
industry
on some
that's
show.
dying?
That's
No.
trash.
You gonna try to transform the dying industry by giving away free shit?
Hey, Vince. He said you're going to try to transform a dying industry by giving away more free shit.
Yes. Get more appreciation.
What's the dying industry?
Music.
Yeah, music's over with.
It's over.
Streaming, bro. It's over with. But I fuck with it. You know what I mean? It's cool. I get it, but like it's over with.
See?
To me, at least.
All right, hold on. I have to start. So you start.
No fight back, just casual drop. It's over. Vince Staples is a younger artist who is still making his way in his rounds within the industry. For him to say that and just Parks ain't fighting back, Joe Budden is like, I mean, you know, it is what it is.
Even though I want to get to that, I mean, I agree. I think that's at the common root of our relationship is that we both think this shit is over with. Only the fans don't know.
They know.
They don't
It's just
know.
free,
They
so
don't
who
care.
cares?
They don't know because they
They've
don't
made
care.
it. They've made it so convenient
No,
for
they
them
don't.
that they
They
don't
don't
care.
They don't know.
They don't know.
They don't know.
They don't know.
Yes,
But
they
it's
do.
not their business to know that.
They do know. They just don't care.
I'm telling you, they don't care. It could be
They
both.
care.
You think a fan care if the musician is getting paid?
Oh no, I'm not talking about that.
Oh.
If music starts coming to a cease,
Well, people are always
and
gonna make music.
If
but I'm
it
talking about
becomes
the
a
music
regularity that your favorite artist only drops every 5 years, then I would care as a fan.
Those of you that have been watching the video clips that we've been reacting to, all of it seems like it's connected by a singular thread because of the way that music pays out, because of the quantity of music that gets pushed out, and because of the quality dropping off in the process, because of even shows, concerts, where people are not getting the experience they feel like this dollar amount should pay for. People are starting to change in general. They're spending habits when it comes to rap music. He's giving two different perspectives of not just the fans, but also giving the perspective of someone who's an artist trying to generate income off of this said model. When you have an artist that has overhead that does not have a stoppage, whether or not you're releasing music or not,
It's not sustainable.
Music producers, rappers, and singers, are you looking to get some constructive feedback on your newest music? Joining Critique My Beats is super easy. All you gotta do is reserve a pass to critiquemybeats.com. Click on book a slot and choose if you wanna get 1 beat review, 2 beat reviews on our live stream every Monday. Best beat and best song of the night is going to win a cash prize. Join us at critiquemybeats.com.
Nobody has favorite artists no more, though. It's like a playlist structure. And like you fans of people's lifestyles, it's like a separation point. You're not a fan of nobody really because they make music.
Sure.
For the most part.
We don't really identify with the artist no more. Like I used to say somebody artist, I'd be like, who the fuck that? I used to be like, you know who he is. I used to play 3 or 4 songs. I'd be like, oh, that's who made that? Whereas before, when we was coming up, we identified with an artist. We liked the artist. Now we just like a song.
There used to be a time when, let's say the 50 Cent era, like the prime of his career, when he spoke about the abundance of music that he had in the vaults before we got Get Rich or Die Trying. It was something that was a rarity. We had never heard about that, at least from a rap standpoint, that be said in a public sense. Artists were taking their time to make music, or taking more time to make music, but to have such an abundance of music, 200, 300 plus songs for a 15-track album, was unheard of. Now, over the years, that has become more of the norm, especially with mainstream artists. You hear about all the time, yeah, I recorded like 400, 500 songs before I actually put this project together. And because of that, it gives them not only a, in their opinion, more solid project, but it also gives them loose singles that they can release any given point in time just in the matter of staying relevant. Now, when one artist does that, it has one effect. When multiple artists do that, everybody is not able to work in a system like that, where you can put so much quantity out and still keep a bar or set a bar and reach it of quality. All the music is affected at that point in time. I think this is just some of the domino effects we're seeing.
The 360 is number 100 on the list of things wrong with the music industry infrastructure.
Now, I fast forwarded this a little bit more, but they were initially talking about 360 deals as being one of the things wrong and one of the reasons why it's so challenging for some artists to build sustainable income. Joe Budden is letting them know, like, I don't really see that as the number one issue. There's some pros and cons that can be argued on both sides, especially if you're on the receiving end of it and you're making the investment for these artists that are not promised to bring you your money back.
I'm not all the way mad at the 360.
What's number one, though?
Niggas got mad at me.
The way they pay out.
That's number one.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Would have to be. Yes.
Go, Paul.
That changes generational wealth.
So you don't want to talk about like the cultural implications on the shit? Because generational wealth is decent if you got, it's easy if you got decent spending habits or like an appreciation for home ownership, an appreciation for education, you know what I mean? Median home income, where I just moved from, where the average home cost is $3 million, the median home income is like 120. That ain't even like a 30-minute set for me. I'm talking about now. We're not talking about 30 years ago, as we said, because it was much different.
My problem is you're talking about now, and I say generational wealth, which is we need to talk about the future. That's cool that you can do that when you walk on a stage and perform. I'm talking about what happens for your grand and great grandkids when you cannot perform.
Of course, but what I'm saying is, generational wealth is based on setting something up.
Knowledge.
You can't really set something up based on how we treat people.
The knowledge is next on my is right under my list.
But
fix the money and then we'll work on getting the knowledge.
What I'm saying is culturally, we got so many bad stigmas that just fuck us. You feel me? Like, all I'm saying, bro, is if a rapper show their fan base, they starter home that costs $700,000, your career might be over. If a rapper showed a nigga they Toyota Corolla, your career might be over.
Vince makes a really great point in that these mainstream rappers are put on a mainstream stage because there's money behind making them look like money, even when it ain't a whole lot of money. When that is the facade that is being marketed, when you're on posters, billboards, when you're on bus stops, everything is just looking like you got money. You're even seen in commercials. The assumption is that you got it. I don't agree that the record labels are not part of the blame for that. When they sign an artist up and they know the content that they're putting out there, at some level they got to take responsibility for whatever consequences or results happens as a result of them signing these artists. I also think that when you're pushing out a certain image of an artist that is not accurate with that artist, you're also putting a target on their back. There's a lot of artists that fall off not because they can't make fire songs. They've been doing this their whole life. There's a lot of artists that can't make it because they got no more money to run through. And on top of that, they've already accumulated enough debt just from the predatory loan. Just to make it look like it's some shit, they had to go through a whole lot of money. I think it's important that both sides at some point take blame if this is indeed the beginning of the end of the industry.
Why y'all always say y'all been taught that when it was niggas like you and him telling y'all the better way to do it and y'all didn't listen?
Niggas just wanted to go the other route.
True.
There's
Everybody-
niggas. Hold
why
on,
do you
let me
think
finish.
that is?
There was older niggas preaching the same shit on the corner, 125th. There was other niggas in hip hop talking about generational wealth and what to do, and we chose not to listen because it was fly to follow. That was a choice that
I'm
we
agreeing
made.
with you.
Yeah,
I'm agreeing with you.
People make that choice. I hate the
I'll tell
puppet
somebody the
master
other
shit.
way, and I still make the dumb choice.
I agree with that. It's more infuriating today because maybe at that point my dad didn't see a
have the
viable
knowledge.
path to get to millions of dollars. Today it's just a little more frustrating because it's like, yo, we have examples of us everywhere getting to it.
This portion right here, the first thought that came to mind was some of the commentary sometimes my reaction videos get. I don't be in there arguing with nobody. I let y'all get that off. There is a segment of my viewers who feel like I'm leaning in too hard on the artists, or that people who are making this kind of content is trying to take them out of position and therefore out of a job that feeds other people in their family, themselves, and employs other people. That is not the goal at all. Not at all with this content. The goal, at least for me, when I share this content, is to make sure that as much as we want the record labels to be held accountable for their treacherous ways, it's important that we also stop saying yes to letting them fuck us over. It's important that we, at some point in time, say, nah, I've seen way too many examples. There's way too many financial literacy YouTube pages that never even thought it would exist back when I started rapping. There's way too many credit repair building, you know what I'm saying, influencers. There's way too many examples of folks who have gone through this. How many fucking documentaries do we have to watch where people get into these shitty ass deals that are larger artists than when people are actually getting ready to sign, that tell you, hey, that's up the road. You sure you want to go here?
You can get the more money, you still don't have the education behind what to do with the money.
I agree with that.
And that's why that knowledge information needs to be.
But it's inflation though, bro, because assets, like you talking about getting to millions of dollars instead of acquiring assets. And having assets is how you get to millions of dollars because money is inherently worthless.
Talk about it.
Well, these people are the asset.
As far as
They're not. But they don't own themselves.
Are you talking about the
so
artist?
they may be an asset to somebody else.
I don't think the artist is the asset. I think the artist is like the vehicle or the IP. The artist is essentially the conveyor belt of Frito-Lay, but then you still got to make the product. So you living in an era of music and television and film where we literally don't have a product anymore. If once the movie theater's over with, that's going to be a whole nother conversation. But in music, we don't really have product anymore.
And I don't think that's by accident.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth.
I don't think that's by accident, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think that's by accident. I think that the people who have positioned themselves as owners of these masters, folks who have these labels, I think they've positioned this to be like this. If the music is no longer of value, then if I'm going to give you X amount of money from a business standpoint, I expect to get money wherever you are getting money, because I was part of this machine that ushered you and marketed you as a label to the masses. Hey, you are now so famous, you're getting brand deals. I need that. What Vince Staples is breaking down is the fact that I think a lot of artists do view themselves as an asset, but you're not an asset to yourself. Your music may be an asset to you because that's what's coming in and you're able to take a percentage off of, right? The movies that you do, the deals that you sign in these movies where you're able to get royalties for the rest of your life, if that's how you negotiate it, yeah, those are assets. They're making you money as you sleep. But when you're talking about an artist, fam, you are the product for somebody else. They're expecting a cut of that money. And I feel like that's been done purposely so that they can justify these 360 deals, justify taking a piece of every fucking thing that you make money on. Think about the way that they even count Spotify money and how they report to you what they want to report to you. There's no analytics that you can go deeper into except for the analytics they give you. So how much money you're truly owed? We just saw recently an article that said they're paying out more because, our bad, accounting error.
When you say the artist is the asset. They're just not an asset for themselves.
Well, let me ask you a question. How was the artist the asset if the artist is the thing the artist is a means to an end as far as the asset is the song, right? We've seen countless times again that there's a formula for songs. When we have an artist that is supposed to give us a thing, And if you can't produce the thing, then your value as an artist is worthless. But that thing is gonna exist. You have music, and music kind of sits within a certain BPM. So the thing changes, the asset changes over time, and you just have to find the vehicle for that asset of music.
What I love about what Vince Staples is saying is that it's a reminder. The last point he made, it is a reminder how disposable you are when you go into this industry. I don't want to discourage anybody out here from going after the things that you want. I remember what it's like to have dreams of wanting to get a Grammy. I remember what it's like to have dreams of wanting to play these major stadiums and be like the people that I looked up to. But I also know how many people I've come in contact with who were massive success stories, and 4 or 5 years later, they look like a shell of themselves. I feel like it's part of my responsibility, and any content creator that gets in a space that knows better, I feel like it's part of our responsibility to not just demonize the music industry, but let the people who are in it tell you about it and just deliver that information to you. So if you're an artist that's wanting to get into this industry, know what you're getting into. Based upon him saying that the artist is just a conveyor belt that delivers a product to the investor, the music industry, and based upon them already having a formula so that this works a certain way, they don't need you. They don't need me. You can be replaced just like that. And as an independent artist, all I can think about is that this is for our benefit. This is going to force us to figure out how to build these things our own. This is also bringing hip hop back to the block. It's bringing hip hop home. I think about the song I Used to Love Her by Common. It's like hip hop was this vibrant figure at one time. But over the time, hip hop has gone through a lot of transformations. And as of the last, I don't know how many years, but she been kind of drugged out. She didn't went through it. But now when I see stories of vertical videos, TikToks, Instagram reels of rappers rapping on their porch with just them, a DJ, them and their live band, or I see artists that are rapping from their backyards like a La Russell, I look at that and I'm like, damn, that sounds like what my OGs talked about when they talked about hip hop being in the boroughs, when they talked about hip hop being on the block, and they talked about block parties. I feel like it's all coming full circle. I don't know. Those are my thoughts on that, though. Let me know what you think.
DIY.
DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Peace.